I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So if anybody comes in, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome to today's webinar. We appreciate you guys taking time out to be able to do this. I'm super excited because typically you have to sit here and listen to myself or Sean, which I don't know where he just disappeared to, kind of drone on and on. But we are super excited because we have Whitney, our Chief Operations Officer. She's on with us today. She's going to probably be leading quite a bit of this dialogue. I mean, from what it comes to the technical aspect of what we, as a digital marketing company, really need from you guys. And I'm going to stop right there. Did you just catch what I just said? They're like, oh my God, you mean you guys need something from us too? And I think that there's people on here that do a very good job at communicating with us for the things that we need. But I think the misconception is that when you sign up for digital marketing, that it ends up being a situation to where we don't need anything from you and we can just wave a magic wand and make things happen for you. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And today is going to probably be a little bit of an eye opener from really how much involvement we need from you to be able to make things happen. Now, what we need is very little, but it does need to be consistent with the things that we do need. So, and Whitney will really dive more into that as we get going. So let's go ahead and jump into the very first thing. So, basically know your role. You guys have to be, it's a team effort whenever it comes to marketing your restoration company. So a lot of people do think that all they have to do is just hand us the keys to the kingdom. All they have to do is give us the accesses that we need, and then we don't need anything else from you. And basically what it is that you have a Yugo. You guys remember Yugos? They were little 3-cylinder cars. They were basically disposable. You hand us this and you expect us to turn it into a Ferrari for you. And without your involvement, that's not going to happen. We need your help. There are things that are highly that are highly coveted from you guys, like communication. And I don't just mean, hey, here you go, here's a few pictures. We need to understand your culture, what your unique needs are. Where do you want to pursue things? We may get in there and say, okay, well, everybody's water driven. And then we find out that people through 6 months in, because they finally told us, we would rather focus on mold than water. Well, let's be upfront about things like that, because if we don't know, we can't fix it. And so it's very important that communication is a huge key to what we're doing. And I'm going to kind of run through these bullet points, and then I'm going to turn it over to Sean and Whitney, because realistically, whenever it comes to this, guys, they are your go-tos. I go out and sell the services and provide the sales consulting aspect to the franchises, but when it comes to the nuts and bolts of digital marketing, the best in the entire room is Whitney. And so she's going to explain all of that to you guys. So we need lots of photos and videos. We don't want to use stock photos for things. We want photos in your backyard. It does, because customers can relate to that. We need reviews. So here you go. This is going to be the big one. We try to get reviews. I'm telling you, without them, guys, it's really trying to push this bus up a hill. Reviews are highly important to what we need to be able to market you correctly. We would like to know what you do in and for the community, what type of community involvement you have. Where do these things reach out? Where do your roots go so that people can get connected with you? And then also two silly things like company events, hires, promotions, birthdays, any of those kinds of things, your company dog, your company cat, whatever it is that you have that's going to humanize your marketing campaign. So those are just some of the bullet points. I'm going to turn this over to Whitney. I'm going to let her expand on why these things are so important.
Yeah, so whenever we're working on your SEO and social media, we're really focusing on a few key things, which is making good content, providing consistency, and also giving your brand credibility in the eyes of consumers. And, photos and reviews really play the biggest key part in that. Um, as the photos and the reviews are going to give us the opportunity to make great content based on what you're providing. I think sometimes whenever I'm asking for photos, people are thinking, all right, here's 10 pictures of a flood cut. And it doesn't always have to be centered around your job. It can be your dog in Serpro sunglasses. It can be your dog in Serpro bandana or a community event, a golf tournament, your trucks rolling out of the parking lot, going to a large loss. So we have, curated a good list of both photo ideas and video ideas for our clients, just to help you guys strategize in providing us what we need and really making it, custom to your brand, whether, you're a Serpro franchise just getting started or you're a huge, large loss team.
Well,
So
let's kind of talk a little bit about that, Whitney, because photos should never be something they're lacking because I mean they have to upload photos for every single job that they do, and most
right.
franchises average anywhere from 100 to 300 jobs a month. So what I guess I don't understand the disconnect of why photos are do we not have links to all of the photos, or people only sharing a few? What, from the digital marketing standpoint, where is the inherent problem lying?
So, I mean, I think it's just clear communication in like, hey, you don't have to just get us, the insurance photos. Or sometimes the problem may be, oh, well, these photos are all secured in like a database such as Everest Access, to your company cam or your Dropbox or your box.com, your Google shared drive link. We can even create that for our clients. So, you know, wherever you're uploading photos, there's a solution to provide, access. Either way, like whether it's sending a link to a shared drive or providing a login, there's really always a workaround when it comes to job photos. I would say people get really tied up in being in the moment in some of these events and, skipping through the whole employee of the month and not taking a picture of the office dog when it comes in one day and just getting kind of lost in the whirlwind, which we completely understand. Sometimes it's good to just take a pause, realize what you're doing and what, you could show your future customers, that you're doing in the community or you're doing in the office and kind of show the culture behind your company.
So is there any benefit, do you think, about maybe going around and showcasing people in their roles? Like, hey, for me, whenever I worked for Dave Jones, like, this is Sylvia, this is our
Mhm.
administrative assistant. I mean, do you see any value from an SEO standpoint to things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always tell our clients, like, if a client's looking up your website at 3 in the morning because they have water falling from the ceiling, it'd be nice to know who's coming to your door. And so they can look on your employee profiles, either on the website or if you had any videos, introducing an employee and their credentials and their background, what they like to do in their free time. It kind of puts a face to the name of, hey, Jason's coming out there in 10 minutes. He'll be at your front door. They can see Jason on the website and kind of put some trust in the brand and the franchise, before even getting to know them.
So let's address the consistency of reviews, or that, or lack thereof. We've had, companies that we've done SEO for, that we've got into the arguments about the fact of, well, reviews don't matter because so and so's still outranking me. Or people that have tons and tons of reviews that just own their SEO place
Mhm.
with Google. So I would like people to have a very clear cut understanding of exactly how important reviews are, and not just getting two or three of them, or not trying to get 30 of them in a month,
Yeah.
so that you're trying to trick these situations, but where consistency is key, and some tips and tricks on how they can get more of them.
Definitely. So with reviews, it kind of sounds like with most clients is they get fired up about reviews, here and there throughout the year. It's like they'll wait a couple months and they're like, oh yeah, we need to get reviews. They'll send out a mass email and they'll get like 6 reviews in an hour or two. And that's good. But what's even better is, asking those customers that were really happy with your services and getting them to leave a review on the spot right after the completion of the job. And, doing that consistently and really training your team in how to get a great review is really key in providing what Google needs. But not only Google, it's also for your potential customers because Google's going to see that you're getting these great reviews and they're coming in consistently, whether it's one a week or one every month. Having that consistency and building that over time is going to be really rewarding both for your Google My Business listing and for future customers going back and choosing a business to work with based on that feedback.
So if you take a look at like somebody who doesn't have a lot of reviews, that really kind of handcuffs some of the ability of what we can do for that
Mhm.
customer versus somebody who has, they're consistent about going out and getting reviews, and what that does for us. Talk a little bit, I don't want to say necessarily the science behind it, but talk a little bit about the technical aspect of what that really, how it makes our job easier to be able to market them by having, more than just a couple of reviews. I mean, let's say, for example, you're a franchisee on here and you've been in business 5 years. What would be an acceptable amount of reviews that you would think that they should have in that time frame?
So
Just
for
ballpark.
yeah, for 5 years, I would say, you know,
100.
more than that. Like, so if you're just getting like 2 reviews a month, let's say you're doing the bare minimum, getting 2 reviews a month, no natural disasters happen in your area, to get an influx of jobs, and you're just doing, your normal work. If it's 2 reviews a month, that's what,
24
20
year.
reviews a year. So
So that'd be
minimum
24.
of,
That'd be 100.
yeah.
100,
And
no, 124. But
that's
125 roughly. So
Yeah, that's kind of doing the bare minimum. And even that with consistency, that'd be a great amount of reviews to see on a Google listing.
so then
And
where's I guess I don't understand then, and this may be some questions that we can pull out to the attendees, but where's the disconnect? If we're doing, as a business owner, I'm doing between 100 and 300 jobs a month in my own backyard, minus a community wide event, and I'm only getting 2 reviews a month. I mean, where's the disconnect there? What's the problem? I mean, to me, you should be looking at a conversion rate much higher than 2%.
yeah, I would say honestly, the biggest thing is just asking and making sure that the follow through is there. I know Frank Matos, he's GMing his own franchise right now up in Massachusetts. And he's like firsthand seeing, what does it take to get a review?
But
And
you
he's,
have to get a COS signed.
yeah,
So, so the COS, it seems like to me the Google review should go hand in hand.
it definitely should. And I think that, really takes some communication with the customer. Hey, this is different than a Google review. This is not going to translate to a review for us online. Here's why a review for us on Google would be so important. And, maybe there's an incentive for the customer there. Maybe there's an incentive for the employee getting the review. And we can always talk strategy on that. But it's really just asking and helping the customer with the follow through while you're face to face with them.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean, because if you look at it, if it's 300, you're talking a 1/4% conversion. If
Yeah.
they're only getting 2 a month, and so I think that if they need to be driving production, even potentially incentivizing them on conversion rate, for Google reviews to see what crews can get the most, things like that. You got to do a little out of the box thinking. But why is it so important for us, from a review standpoint, to have more versus less?
So, I mean, our main goal in digital marketing is to drive more business to your business, whether that's calls or website traffic. Reviews are going to do both for us. they help both on your website and your Google My Business listing. So the more reviews you're getting, the more credibility that we're building with both Google and your customer base, which is going to generate more revenue and more work for your business.
Nice, nice. So I think probably just the leave behind on this, we need better communication, more photos and videos, more reviews, and a wide variety of photos, that are going to help it. Everything that we're asking for is only to benefit you and to drive more business to you. So, and those are the tools that we need on this side of the digital marketing platform to make your campaign more successful. So let's talk a little about consistency. So I had done this slide and was just going to leave it open ended. I like the fact that you added to it, so that you can kind of really get in there and drive the point home of really what consistency is. What does it mean? So to break it down into layman's terms to where everybody can understand, but consistency is key. I mean, you're not going to trick Google anymore. Google's, at a middle school learning level and learning more every day. So you're not going to go out and go trick it. So let's talk about consistency.
Yeah, so Google wants to know what businesses are actively being used and are getting good feedback. Actually, any feedback. I know some people are worried about getting a negative review here and there, and it's okay to not be perfect and not have a perfect business. I think there's actually some research done in the perfect review average being around like 4.8. But consistency, that plays around kind of everything when it comes to what we're doing for our clients. It's, the website updates, it's posting daily on Google My Business, getting new content uploaded, directory listing accuracy and updates on Yext, the reviews with customer feedback, all of those playing together in, the schedule that we use at tier level. It helps Google to reward your business when all of those things are working in your favor.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that, I have conversations with people all the time whenever we're onboarding new customers or in the process of signing a new customer on about negative reviews. Google sees those as just as much valuable information as they do positive reviews because it's unbiased real world feedback. And unfortunately, none of us got up and walked on the water this morning. I am more apt to trust a company that is at 4.7, 4.8 than a straight 5.0, because to me, if they've never made a mistake, then I'm probably going to be the mistake they're going to make is the way I kind of look at it. So, but we do have a tool to help manage negative reviews, because unfortunately we all do deal with things like our competitors can get on there and leave a review that isn't warranted, and trying to get these negative reviews off is nearly impossible because Google does see value in them. So the tool that we have for you guys, which a lot of you are probably using, is called a Were You Happy link. And what it does is that if they're happy, it sends them straight to the Google page to leave the review. But if they're not and they click a thumbs down, it allows you to intercept it and potentially rectify the problem before leaving a negative review. So, again, it's like us. We can't fix it, or we don't know it's broken if you don't tell us. So sometimes a customer may have signed off on the COS, but they really truly weren't happy. So if you guys are looking for that, get with Whitney or your client coach on the Were You Happy link, and we'll be more than happy to get it out there to help you manage if you're having a problem dealing with erroneous negative reviews, so that we're not having to try to do a ton of man hours to get them off of there, and all the research and what it takes to find out whether they're valid or not and things like that. But definitely on a consistency standpoint, we want to make sure that we're doing things. I mean, we update Google My Business every single day. Why do you think that's important as opposed to other digital marketing companies are doing it in-house?
We're the only company that I know that posts on Google My Business every single day. And the importance of that is that those posts expire. So the more we refresh them, the more opportunity we have for a customer to see that post, take the call to action to either visit the website, read a blog, or to call directly from that post.
Good deal. So the next thing we're going to talk about, and This is one of my favorite ones. I don't know if Sean is still on. I'd like him to kind of chime in.
I
I
am.
know, yeah. I'd like him to kind of chime in on this one as well. This is a really big one for us on the sales side, because we used to have the frame of mind of, as a digital marketing company, we can only take the call so far. We can take the call up to your phone, and then what happens after that was all on you. And we realized that that's not the case, that we can actually assist you with conversion training, admin training to make your admin teams more efficient, stealth calls to facilities to see what is actually happening with the phone calls. But ultimately, here's the way that I wanted to break it down this time into a real world scenario. If the average residential water loss is roughly 3,000, and the average commercial water loss is roughly 8,000, every single call that is missed, dropped, answered by the answering service, or not converted has cost your company one of those amounts. It has cost and with those all add up over the course of a year, it could equate to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every single year. Case in point, we had a Google guarantee call that resulted in $1 million+ job. So you miss that call, they automatically go to the next person on the list. And we can even do a deeper dive, into conversion, and have done conversion webinars on these to show exactly how much this equates to if you're converting at 20% versus 80%, things like that. But Sean, I know you and I are very passionate about this. What feedback do you have on this conversion portion?
Yeah, I think it's just important to know your numbers. I mean, if you don't know what ROI you're bringing in from digital marketing, you're missing the whole concept of it. Because if your digital marketing is driving phone calls and they're not converting, then what's the point of driving more phone calls if you won't convert the ones that you already have? So, I think this is a lot of times I hear a lot of business owners say, there's no ROI in digital marketing. I tried Facebook, it doesn't work. And I'm like, always, how long have you tried it for? And it's usually always short term. But these averages, I mean, if you go through your QuickBook numbers, you go through your financials as a business owner or a manager for your organization, you're going to see, these averages are pretty, 2,500 to 3,000 for residential water. Commercial can be all over the place, but we typically see it average down to about 8,000 per commercial water loss as well. But these numbers are very important to understand, especially if you have well-defined goals of where you're working to. So if you're trying to get to X million a year as a business owner, you need to know how many of these jobs you have to be doing and how many phone calls need to be coming in. What's your conversion rate of all the calls coming in? So these metrics are very important for growing your business and making sure you have a well grasp on the numbers.
Well, I think another important thing too, to really important point to drive home, because the ROI slide is the next and the last slide that we have. But let's take a look at the residential water loss at $3,000. If you're a single license owner, just a single license owner paying for digital marketing, one call comes in that's a residential water loss that is converted at that average price, you've profited money based on what you pay us. And yet the assumption is there's no return on your investment. You have made money if we only drive one call to your facility that is converted into a job. And that's based on industry averages. We all know that sometimes a commercial water loss can be $500. It could be something little. So then it's going to take a couple of those. But the problem is, and I hate to be this crass, but the people that are telling me that there's no ROI with the reporting that we provide that shows the analytics that are being driven to your franchise, we are more than paying for our services to do what we do for you. Most of the time, 10, 20, even 30 times over. So I'm going to encourage you that if you decide you don't want to use your digital marketing company, don't use an ignorant statement like there's no ROI behind it. Because it's frustrating for us, because we can show you the ROI. We are not costing you money. We are never costing you money. We are always making you money. So I can say that with extreme confidence. We will always make you money. So let's talk about ROI. This one again will be, I know Sean's real passionate about this. Him and Whitney are the reporting gurus whenever it comes to this, and really breaking these things down, and getting into the deep dives of what they are. So I'll let Whitney take the lead, and Sean, if you want to jump in there too about the ROI factor of what we do.
Yeah, so I just want to give like a quick glimpse of what you're seeing on that right-hand side. That is a year snapshot strictly from Google My Business. You can see that this client had 30 reviews in the year of 2020, 817 calls from that Google My Business listing with a 4.63 average rating on those reviews. So I kind of wanted to break it down and let you know, like, this is, the picture perfect client for the most part. They get us great content, communicate weekly. We, talk about strategy and what they can provide, to make their numbers stay consistently great. And so I wanted to do just a small breakdown, which Sean started this. And let's say this client has a conversion rate of 50%. We're looking at, $1.2 million in revenue generated from Google My Business for this client, which I think is pretty amazing.
Well, and kind of talk to that too. That's if it was only 50% conversion, which is about 25% lower than the industry standard.
Right.
So, people are like, oh, well, you can't quantify that. It's like, well, no, we're going substandard industry conversion rates. We're not just pulling numbers out. We're saying if 50%, I mean, for lack of a better term, that sucks. I mean, if you're converting at 50%, there is a huge problem internally that needs to be fixed, that there needs to be additional training. There needs to be things like that. You should be converting at 75% or higher of your calls that are coming in. So we're going 50% or less. So we're talking about, if you really suck at converting these calls, you've made 1.225 million. So, so I want to drive that point home. It's like, tell me you didn't pay. I promise you didn't pay anywhere close to $1 million for your digital marketing. You're not even close. Because if you were paying $1 million for digital marketing, me, Whitney, and Sean would probably not be sitting here today. So
Sure.
Sean, you got anything on the ROI portion?
Yeah, I think these reports are very important, not only to analyze on a quarterly basis, but to kind of keep them and look year over year, like how are things improving? What changed? What changes has Google made that might have affected this? If you can just have those conversations with your digital marketing company or internally, if you do it in-house, it's just very important to understand that. But, what are you missing with all the things that you're supposed to be doing in digital marketing? Are you missing the review aspect of it? Are you missing the response to the reviews? Are you not updating your photos consistently? These are all things that you have to ask these questions. What can we do better? And that's a conversation we like to have with our clients on a regular basis. Like, where can we improve? Like, what do you need from me? And when you can have that conversation, that's when you can really start to see some incremental improvement.
Right. So whenever you, I guess, I want to kind of open this up for questions, because I think the big thing is that there are disconnects, that people, they either don't involve themselves necessarily in the reporting side of it, or they don't necessarily understand the reports or how to translate it to that. So let's go ahead and open it up for questions to see if anybody might have those questions that need to be answered regarding anything that we have covered. And you can put them in the chat section, and sometimes I will err to the fact that if we don't have any questions, we did a really, really good job of explaining. And if you have questions on the technical side of it, you can also add Whitney, WHITNEY @tierlevel.com. Looks like we do have something in the chat.
That was just me.
Just you? Okay. So far, so good. So, well, like I said, I'm going to take that as a good thing. Here's the deal, guys. If you don't know how we make you money, all you have to do is ask. I can promise you we're transparent enough that or proactive enough that if we are going to, something's going to happen that's going to impact your business, say Google's going to make a change, we want to get out in front of it, and talk to you about it and let you know that these things are going to happen. And we could see a potential decrease in your rankings, map listings, things like that. The other thing I want to drive home for you guys is that it doesn't happen overnight. We cannot wave a magic wand. If there is a Google impact that affects your business, we can't fix it tomorrow. Okay. We have to operate within the confines of what Google allows us to do and not to do. And we do that for your benefit. If we were to go out and go do it wrong, we risk doing far more damage to you than if we do it right. So, just like the customers that you have, that when the water's in their house, they want it out right now and their house back tomorrow. You have to have sometimes very uncomfortable conversations. But I want you to understand that we always have you in the forefront of what we do. You are the most important cog in this wheel. We value you. We appreciate the fact that you chose us to do business with you. And we are always going to make sure that we're on fire trying to do our very best for you. So, but there are times that things are going to happen that are out of our control. Just be patient with us. We will fix them. When we had the big issue that happened, it was either a couple years ago or last year with the big Google implementation. We were able to fix our customers much faster than the majority of digital marketing companies because of our consistency and because of the fact that we do interact with Google every single day. So if you don't know, ask. And I promise you, we may not give you the answer you want to hear, but it's going to be the right answer. And we're going to do everything in our power to ensure that we are taking the very best care of your business, because again, we appreciate the fact and we're honored and privileged that we get to serve you every single day. So, Whitney, I know you have done a phenomenal job with your team. And a lot of you may interact with different facets of tier level. So Whitney, do you have anything you want to say on behalf of your team?
No, I thank you guys so much for being on here. Just know, like, I am with our team every single day, even on the virtual office, because we're remodeling our current office. So we're still sticking together. If you have any issues, or I'm always here alongside my team to help and assist in any way I can. So,
And if there are trainings that you guys want to do, whether they're sales related, whether it's getting people to understand the digital marketing aspect of it, whether you want us to do administrative training, we do so much more that is above and beyond just the digital marketing aspect of what we do. Sean is an operations guru, and really is a good complement to me on the sales side. My acumen is sales and training and doing all that. And Whitney is very versed in, like I said, the digital marketing aspect and operational aspect of that. So, you have people on this team that have done everything that you guys could ever do in your franchise. And so we understand your pain points. We can help you with your pain points. And like I said, if you don't ask us, we don't know that you need help. So by all means, pick up the phone and say, hey, would you guys be willing to do this for us? I can almost be willing to bet the answer will always be yes, because we value you. So thank you so much, guys, for being on. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a fantastic long weekend. I hope you enjoy it. And if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. You guys are fantastic, and we'll talk again soon.
thank you guys.
Take care, guys.